Oh, hello there. Yes, well, I'll try and get the day right today. It's Friday. I know it's Friday because it's felt like a bleeding long week. Anyway, today I just wanted to highlight a particular snippet from the Telegraph yesterday. Schools teaching too many religions in RE lessons. Ofsted warns. Yes, you've been warned. Watchdog says superficially broad curriculum doesn't always provide pupils with the knowledge they need. We'll come back to that as a concept, I think. But this, I think, is fairly indicative of everything that's wrong with the British education and the government's meddling in it. Actually, when I became a teacher, I trained in citizenship, and the first job I had was actually as an RE lead in a school. Yes, which gave me a very interesting viewpoint on the notion of how things work, one might say. But this particular review, basically, well, let's read some of it, okay? So, Christmas is God's birthday, yeah. The review highlighted that some pupils were taught ideas that not accurately reflect the traditions they were learning about, such as the idea of Christmas as God's birthday. All right. Pupils in one secondary school had developed misconceptions such as Christians don't like gay things, the report added. Now, I'm sorry, but I don't think lots of those things are necessarily being taught to children. Children will be given by a half-decent RE teacher. There aren't many of them around, mind you, because it's not a priority subject. Come back to that one as well. Kids will pick up things that they hear from elsewhere, and they will often apply them into their knowledge. And let's face it, there are a lot of Christian voices out there that don't like gay things, so that might well be that one. It found a notable proportion of schools did not meet the statutory requirement to teach RE to all pupils at all key stages. Yes, well, the problem with that, of course, is that schools for the last 20 so years have been hemmed in by a regulatory framework which pushes certain things. They change year from year. It's one of the problems with Ofsted in that you never really know quite what their priority is going to be until they turn up. Unless, of course, you have a Ofsted inspector on site or a tame one for you, which lots of schools do. But broadly speaking, the way that the curriculum in the UK has been fixed, if you like, it's that those things that do not directly contribute to things like league tables on a wider level as far as the government's concerned, the PISA, international scores, and just generally GCSE results, well, they're just going to go out the window, by the door. You know what I mean? Yeah, which is why all of those kind of what we might call Cinderella style things like drama and music have basically fizzled away to nothing. It's the same with languages. It's not a priority because other things are priorities, yeah? Got to get more kids to train to be accountants. Absolutely vital, says Rishi. Yeah. So the watchdog has called on the government to urgently update guidance for schools about its statutory expectations for RE and ensure there is clarity about what should be taught and when. Fine. It won't change dickety anything about that, okay? You can take a short GCSE course, which can be done in a year. And back when GCSEs and passes in them were being done, I know because I suffered under it, lots of schools forced their kids to take that. Very few kids want to take RE. The way that the standard GCSE is set up, it is very much sort of guided towards faith schools. So you will have particular things in the second paper which are for Roman Catholic schools or for Islamic schools. I personally think that the GCSE course is reasonable because it highlights notions of morality, which one would hope. But this idea that, you can't sum up religion in a couple of sentences, I think's a little bit inaccurate. Okay? Let's just read on anyway. It's compulsory for all state schools in England to teach RE to pupils, apart from those that have been withdrawn from lessons by their parents. Yeah, that's the Jehovah's Witnesses. It added that the content of some secondary curriculums was restricted by what teachers considered pupils needed to know for exams. Bingo. It concluded that RE content selected was rarely enough to ensure pupils will well prepared to engage in a multi-religious and multi-secular society. Yeah, well, it might help if, kind of the way that religion was being presented in the media was slightly different, because the standard way that it's presented is, of course, that Muslims are bad and we are a Christian nation, even though people don't know anything about religion, just in the wider context. Yeah. But, I mean, it would be nice if somebody could actually, perhaps, come up with an RE curriculum which was fit for purpose and one that was actually taught. But it won't be, because the government has no vested interest in that. It's merely another stick to give to Ofsted to beat people with. It'll be another tick box exercise whereby you will put a bit of RE into some of your sixth form lessons or something. Yeah, you'll do some algebra about X number of churches and Y number of faithful, or whatever it might be. That's all these things end up, because schools these days are competitive hothouses as businesses. That's the way that they operate. It's a very secular environment. I mean, we could very easily, I think, teach children the basics and they would be true about religions, okay? Christians believe that Jesus was the Son of God. Islamic types, your Muslims, believe that Muhammad was the final prophet. And your Jewish lot believe loads of old-fashioned stuff because they got it down to a T. Now, you can easily, I think, get all state pupils to have a basic knowledge of the Abrahamistic religions. They tend to concentrate in primary schools on things like Hinduism, because it's got lots of pretty looking characters in it. But yeah, I mean, we could do, but it's worthwhile, I think, as well, in a secular society, which is what we are, of having a proper RE curriculum which does accurately, for example, question the notion of religion in society. But of course, that's going to be a bit threatening for an awful lot of MPs. Your Miriam Gates et al. Are going to look aghast at that notion. I mean, there are plenty of religious schools out there. A lot of them are unregistered, of course. There is that. With the explosion in home education, an awful lot of kids are getting a very, very, very RE curriculum, which is way outside any safeguarding concerns. But I guess it's just easier to hit mainstream schools with the notion that they need to do more. They always need to do more. Any resources coming? No, of course not. I remember that story very well when I was given my RE brief during my NQT year. Yes, I ended up with one video and 2 Bibles, and I had to teach all of the year 11s and get them all, 80% of them through a pass at GCSE in 1 year. And the pass rate for the kids the year before who wanted to do GCSE was 23%. I love games I can't win. Anyway, do have a lovely Friday. Try and stay warm. It's still a bit mucky and windy out there. Hopefully the weekend will give us a little bit of respite and we can have a bit of sunshine. Anyway, do enjoy. Don't forget to say your prayers, maybe.